I think one of the main things that we can take from not only the Diddy case, but so many cases that have popped up with, brothers being sued by females, sometimes by men claiming sexual abuse, assaults, etc., is to teach our young men and ladies to value their time, their mind, and their bodies. I think if we continue to teach both sides, both genders, if you will, to value your time, value your mind, value your space, value your temple, your body, and treat others with respect. You understand? Present yourself respectable. Hey man, we won't run into a lot of these issues. Because I think a lot of times young men, and I can speak from that perspective because I was that young man before who may not have known how to engage or deal with certain situations at a period in time in my life, right? But because I've had, even with that, I've had my father be in my life and give me scenarios and give me game on how to move, on what to do and what not to do. You understand? And I remember one time, the first time I ever went to California, before I went, he told me, he said, listen, when you go to California, he said, two things don't do. He said, don't go to a woman's house. If you meet her out and about, have her come to where you at, right? Or meet her out somewhere public, have dinner with her, whatever, and really check her temperature. But don't go to her house, right? Second thing he told me was be mindful of the parties that you attend. Because you could be going to a party and somebody, it could be a man, and invite you to a party, or a female, but particularly a man, and you go there and there's nothing but dudes there. And that's not your sexual orientation, but it goes down like that in California. So, these are things that kids need to be taught on how to conduct themselves when they leave the house, when they are in some of these environments where there's drugs, there's alcohol, and there's the potential for something to go all the way left. I tell my daughters all the time, hey, look, don't, if be mindful of who you're around. If you know one of your girlfriends is cool, she's a sweetheart, but she like to get super drunk and then super turned, and then she'll disappear and in a house party for an hour and then come back and she fixing her lipstick, fixing her hair, hey, that ain't the girl to be around. Because if that girl get a train ran on her and then she wake up or she come to, or however you want to say it, and then she's all distraught and now she's embarrassed and she's saying to us, oh, they gonna talk about me in school or they gonna talk about me on social media, so now I'm gonna claim RAPE and say that's what they did to me, even though it's a LIE. And then now you were there with her, so now her lawyers are contacting you, the police are contacting you, asking you, would you like to make a statement? Now you calling me dad. I explain these scenarios to my daughters. And sometimes they laugh because I'm so colorful and I describe these hypothetical stories, but they say, Dad, thank you, because these type of things happen. My oldest daughter told me about a story, a girl when she was in high school, about a girl that was in her high school that went to a party, a kickback at a house, and allegedly was in the living room getting on her knees, handling her business with a lot of the guys that was there. And it came back to the school and it was spreading throughout the school. And she said, Dad, that's how I know the things you tell me are the truth. Because I told her about scenarios like that. I said, a lot of these girls want attention and they think that's the way to get attention. They have to be taught. That's all. It don't make them stupid. It just makes them not know how to move in certain situations. You got to educate them, fathers and mothers. Get them off their phone and sit down with them and ask them questions about their friends. Ask them questions about, what's going on in there, what type of music they listening to. I listen to the type of music my daughters send me their favorite artists. So I know what they're listening to. And I educate them on what's some of the lingo in the music. And a lot of times they don't know. I had to tell my daughters what groceries were. They didn't know. Right? But I educated them and now they know, and they know not to walk around, talking about groceries, because they would have been singing songs and not knowing what they're saying. But as parents, as elders, If you have children, sit your children down and talk to them about what they're listening to. Talk to them about what's out here, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and listen to them as well. And I'm telling you, we have less of these, how do you say it, man? Just terrible situations going on out here. Because just think about it. Some young ladies, because they're not taught certain things, they're not taught proper etiquette, they're not taught how to, to choose their friends properly, or to even know what a friend is. Now they put themselves in positions to where they jump out there and do and say things to get the wrong attention. And then when that wrong attention comes, now they're crying RAPE. Right? But they put themselves in a position to where they volunteered to get a train ran on them. They volunteered to have certain things go on sexually, or drink a certain amount of alcohol, take 19 shots, right? And then the next thing you know, she may not even remember that she came on to this guy, that she got on her knees and opened his zipper because she was drunk or high off of cocaine, whatever it is. I got to give it to y'all raw, because you see what's going on out here. This is not a game, right? And we know there are girls being taken advantage of, just like there are young boys and young men being taken advantage of too, right? So let's do our best as elders, as parents, as teachers, as coaches, as whatever, whoever. If you're older and you know better, then teach these kids better so they can do better and we can see better when we're watching these kids journey through life. All right? One love.